Hey guys, in this session we're going to be looking at addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions. So what does it mean? Let's have a look at a couple of examples first, real simple ones. So in this case we've got 4 over d plus 7 over d. Now because the denominators are the same, I can rewrite this as 4 plus 7 over d, and then this can be written as 11 over d. That's exhibit A. What about when the denominators are different? So let's go back to way back in time when you have to add 4/5 plus 7 over 10. Now we know that between 5 and 10, 10 is the least common multiple. So I need to convert this 5 here into a 10. So that means I need to multiply the denominator by 2 and the numerator by 2 as well. So when I do this, I get 8 over 10 plus 7 over 10, and then this can be written as 15 over 10. What about when we end up with letters? And I guess this time, if you have a look at it, between x and 2, the least common multiple is actually going to be 2x. Okay? Now you might wonder why, because, well, we don't know what x is, and we know that the only way the least common multiple would work is multiply the two things together. So that means for the x part, I need to multiply the denominator by 2 and the numerator by 2. And as for the 2 part, when it says 7 over 2, I need to multiply the denominator by x and the numerator by x. When I do this, I get 8 over 2x minus 7x over 2x. And because 2x is the denominator, I'm going to rewrite this as 8 minus 7x over 2x. Okay, so what about when we have two letters? So this follows the same idea as the previous example I've worked. So between x and y, the least common multiple will be xy. So what I'm going to do is, with the first term, I'm going to multiply the denominator by y and the numerator by y. And for the second term, I'm going to multiply the numerator by x and the denominator by x. Because when I do this, I've got y times 4, which is 4y, divided by xy, minus 7 times x, divided by y times x, which can be said as xy. So simplifying this, I've got 4y minus 7x divided by xy. Okay, let's have a look at a few more examples. What happens when you have something like this? A over b plus b over c plus c over a. So we've got three unknown numbers here. So we've got b, we've got c, and a. What we do know is that the least common multiple between these three will be ABC, because all of those three things are multiplied together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write A over B plus B over C plus C over A like this. So with the first one, I've already got a B there, which means I need to multiply both the numerator by A and the denominator by A. And I also want C to be in the denominator, so I've got to multiply the denominator by C and the numerator by C. Hope that made sense. As for B over C, I've already got a C there, so I need to multiply both by A over A and then B over B, because now you should actually see CAB as ABC as a common factor. And for the final term, I've got C over A, which means I need to multiply the numerator by B and the denominator by B, and then the numerator by C and the denominator by C. So what happens now? Now it's just a matter of, I know that all of these fractions have ABC as the denominator, so I'm going to put the whole thing as one common denominator, and then I start working through each one of them. So I've got A times C, which is A squared C, plus B times A, which is B squared, AB squared. And finally, I've got C times C, which is C squared, and I've multiplied by B is BC squared. So that's what I end up getting for this particular question. Okay, let's try another different type of question. What about if I have something like this? I've got 3a over 2p plus pq and pqr. So let's have a look at all my terms. I've got 2p, I've got pq, and I've got PQR. Now the lowest common multiple between all these three terms is going to be 2PQR. All right, and basically you can have a look at it. So from 2P to get to 2PQR, I'm multiplying by QR to get that. From PQ to 2PQR, I'm multiplying by 2R to get that. And then finally, from PQR to 2PQR, I'm multiplying by 2 to get to that. So I'm going to write down my 3A first, 3A over 2P. And if I have a look, I need to multiply by QR, both in the numerator and the denominator, and then that should give me the denominator of 2PQR. So I've got this plus A over PQ multiplied by 2R. So I've got 2R in the numerator, 2R in the denominator. And then finally I've got minus 4A PQR. But this is getting multiplied by 2 in the numerator and 2 in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. All right, so what do we know now? We know one thing. We know that the denominator for all of these three things is 2PQR. And now it's just a matter of simplifying the numerator. So we've got 3AQR plus 2AR minus 8A as our final answer. All right, guys. So we're going to be looking at the last question right now. And that's something like this. So we've got P plus 2Q over 3Q minus 4P plus 3Q over 2P. Okay, so between 3Q and 2P, we can see that the lowest common multiple is going to be 6PQ. So what am I multiplying by 3Q to get to 6PQ? I'm actually multiplying it by 2P. And then what am I multiplying from 2P to get to 6PQ? I'm multiplying by 3Q. So I'm going to take my terms. I've got P plus 2Q over 3Q. Now this is getting multiplied by 2P. So I'm going to multiply this by 2P and 2P. But here's where you need to be careful. Make sure this whole thing is in a bracket form. Otherwise, it's very easy to miss a term. Then we've got minus. This time we're multiplying, what do we got? We've got 4P plus 3Q over 2P. And we're multiplying this with the numerator of 3Q and the denominator of 3Q. And once again, make sure you put a bracket around the 4P plus 3Q. Now there's a particular reason why I've used minus in this case, because I want to show you guys what happens. So in this first one here, we're going to expand the numerator. So, well, let me actually write it like this. I'm going to write it like this, 2P before I expand it. I'm going to have P plus 2Q minus 3Q multiplied by 4P plus 3Q, and the whole thing divided by 6PQ. Now I need to expand the numerator. When I expand the numerator, what I'm going to get is 2P squared plus 4PQ minus 12PQ minus 9Q squared, and the whole thing is over 6PQ. And of course this can be simplified as 2P squared minus 8PQ minus 9Q squared, and the whole thing divided by 6PQ. And basically that's our final answer there, folks. Alright guys, that's basically it for this session here. If you have any questions, pop it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching.